We just want our fans to know
that if you want to get in touch with us,
go to our website,
www.3lw.com.
Don't ever doubt you'll be someone. Always go for what you want. Get up and put your purpose on. Get up, feel the sunshine on your face. Believe that you deserve it all. Put in the work and you will end up far. This is my show and tell. So tell me, are you ready to get it on? So tell me, yeah. So tell me, are you ready? So tell me, are you ready for me? So tell me, are you ready? Tell me, are you ready? What's up, y'all? It's Lawrence Hicks-Wilson. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, and actor, and music collector. I love collecting CDs, vinyls, and cassettes, and memorabilia, posters, all that kind of stuff. And today we're finally gonna get to 3LW's debut album titled Just That. Let's get into it. If you couldn't tell by the beginning. Okay, look, this is an album coming straight from 2000, if you couldn't tell by the aesthetic and the style and everything that's going on with this body of work here. And I just had to take it out of my radio because I had played it probably several times to get it downloaded into my system. This was actually my first time listening to this album and owning this album. And it is pretty solid. Some cool things I want to point. Like, immediately when I hear this, I think of the summer, and because it has like a summer vibe, just like fun, pop, warm. You know, what else? Like, just like hot summer. That's what it makes me think of. Even though the album reminds me of summertime because of the timing of the first single, the album was actually slated to be released in November of 2000, but was pushed to December of 2000. So we really didn't get this to Christmas 2000. So it was kind of like a 2001 album, if you will, but still, between 2000 and 2001, I mean, we were all familiar with, I guess, 3LW. I mean, we were all familiar with, I mean, come on now. If the single comes out in the summertime and it blows up like that, I feel like, of course, everybody's gonna know you, like, for, like, that whole entire year, even if your album comes out at the end of the year, right? Their first single was No More Baby, I'ma Do Right. I don't know how many 3LW fans are out there, but you guys probably know better than me. But I believe the first time that we heard from 3LW, it was actually from the Bring It On soundtrack. So No More Baby, I'ma Do Right is the first track, and it's the first single. It was the first video that we saw by them, which was pretty cool. I like that you can see that each girl has a style and individualism, and they have a role in the group. And there's a lot of like singing and rapping going on. I haven't heard the rest of their albums to study if that's like something that they kept up, but I know that that's how they started out. This group is very, you can compare them to, well, could compare them to Destiny's Child or TLC. A lot of people say, majority say this is like baby TLC, and some say this is like a replica of Destiny's Child. In my opinion, it's definitely a mixture of both. To me, it looks like that it was set up to be that way. But once I gave the album a listen, it really does seem like it was sort of formatted and tethered from TLC's-esque, with a lot of rapping and singing going on in between, with Keely in the middle taking most of those raps. And speaking of TLC, when Left Eye first saw the advertisement for this group, and I quote, she said she thought it was a JCPenney advertisement. Don't know why they were getting all the shade. I'm not trying to throw shade, but I thought it was quite funny, probably because of what they're wearing and the color scheme. It does look like a back to school ad. But the girls slayed. I mean, come on. This is a dope freaking album cover. You cannot deny it. And the colors were popping, and yeah. You just can't. Another thing that's interesting, because I'm going to get into these album tracks, each girl to me can sing. I don't care what you say. I'm not falling for it. None of the other stories and none of that. But look, let's get into it. Okay, so No More, Baby, I'ma Do Right. The first single with the first video. You have Notori, and you know, Notori doesn't have a solo verse, but she's probably in the backgrounds that you can, like 3LW fans could probably pinpoint her. But I know she's there because she's a strong vocalist. You can really hear Adrian and Keely. In Keely's part, on the auto-tune part, you can really tell that they added heavy auto-tune because that's what was in at that time. I'm really not falling for they put auto-tune on her voice because she really could not sing, because if you listen to the other tracks on this album where it includes her voice, there's not really any auto-tune, and her voice really sounds good in my opinion. I'm just saying. So Keely, stop faking the funk, stop fronting. You know you can sing. We know you're, all three of you are very, very talented. Stop faking the funk, Keely. Okay, look. Second song, Is You Feeling Me? You know, when you get into the album, and once you hear their first single, you're expecting the entire album to kind of sound like how maybe Destiny's Child's album sound because of the No More Baby, I'ma Do Right single. So that's kind of what I was expecting when the second track came in, but the second track is giving you more of a hip hop, more of a urban edgy flavor, if you will. And then you can hear Keely singing the first verse, because I know that's Keely. And interesting enough, her tone is very similar to Adrian's, even though their voices aren't the same. Their tones are very similar, because there were certain parts in the album where I'm listening and I'm like, is that Keely or is that Adrian? You know, because they have like the baby tone, if you will. To me, Is You Feeling Me it's very like, it could have had a rapper on it. It could have been. I definitely could see this being like on the 106 and Park countdown, Is You Feeling Me? And it's a very popular song off this album. I don't know if it has a video because I haven't seen all of their videos. I've only seen 2. And there's probably at least one more out there, or more than one out there from this era. If anybody knows, drop them in the comments. The third song, Play It's Gonna Play. A lot of people like to think this is what Taylor Swift was listening to, but she probably was. I wouldn't be surprised if one of her songwriters listened to 3LW and got inspired by that. But play is gonna play, 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 play. I don't know. What do y'all think? I really like 3LW's single Play is Gonna Play and the video, and I like how each girl shines on this track as well. But there's so many tracks on here where the girls really shine. Play is Gonna Play. Again, it kind of rounded off that urban sound that they gave you in the track before for Is You Feeling Me, because it has like that, you know, like it's a hitmaker song. So, well, at least that's what it says, you know, like, you know, I love opening these album liners. Let me just show y'all. Look, this is the front and the back. The pictures on the inside is not that many, but it's enough to be cool. And I love the fold out. You guys know I love a good fold out. It's a pretty cool silhouette of the ladies. But Play is Gonna Play is produced by, majority of this is produced by Hall and Butler and C. Gills. These are the producers of No More. These are the producers of Play Is Gonna Play. And there's Curious. There's a few songs on here. Even their manager has a producing credit on the Crush on You song. And Is You Feeling Me is by G. Johnny and M. Kim. So there's a few different producers on here. But Play Is Gonna Play. I love how they have Notori and Adrian going back and forth. And again, you have Keely there with the rapping kind of presence. And she rapped in a few songs on this album. Track number 4, Getting Too Heavy. First of all, Getting Too Heavy, and this is what solidified it for me. These are some other cool pictures of the girls. Notori, at the time, they were trying to establish Keely as Keely Key, which was really cool. But Keely, and Adrian. Really cool shot of the girls. 3LW. Getting Too Heavy for Me though is a song produced by their mom. Keely's mom has a producing credit. At least in the interview, they're stating that that's who Michelle Williams is. She's her mom, but I'm not a super duper Poindexter on that. But yes, but Getting Too Heavy for Me immediately reminded me of Red Light Special by TLC. I don't know if anybody else felt like that. Did it remind you of Red Light Special? But it definitely reminded me of Red Light Special, like the chord progression of the song, the direction of the song, the emoting vocally of the song, each girl's part. And this is where I want to emphasize the vocals of each girl. Of course, you have Adrian, who is to me is a standout vocalist because of the parts that she got and because of the uniqueness of her voice. Then you have Notori, that's a soulful vocalist who's extremely powerful on her own. And you have Keely, who has a pop, very polished, like very girl next door sound. Like to me, Keely sounds like Britney Spears to me. And that sound works a lot. It really works a lot. And I can see how she can kind of like move in different directions with her sound. That's just in my opinion. So I'm not falling for the whole she couldn't really sing, she needed auto-tune, or even that she had a speech problem, or she couldn't really, I'm not falling for any of that, because the other songs on this album proves otherwise. One thing I will point out about her is she's very good as a dancer as well, and the way she decides to accessorize herself. She always looks like different. They all look different. They all had their own styles, like how they dress. But I really like how she dressed and how she pulled herself together, especially for the dance sequence in 3LW's videos. So yeah, Keely, y'all sleeping on Keely and her presence in the group. But yes, Getting Too Heavy for Me, it definitely sounds like Red Light Special to me. But the girls did what they needed to do, and they did a really good job with that song. 8, I'm Gonna Make You Miss Me. Some of these songs sound very, again, pop, very R&B at the same time, and hip-hop influence. These are one of the songs that sounds very like pop influence. It also, like, when I listen to the sound of the album, it sounds like it could be a Maya album or a Britney Spears album. Definitely a Maya album, absolutely. But the I'm Gonna Make You Miss Me song absolutely reminds me of Maya. It reminds me of If You Were Mine from her first album. I need to do a retrospective on that album. Any Maya fans out there? And do y'all hear what I hear? Like, don't those songs sound the same to me? I wonder if those are the same producers, but I was trying to Google it and I couldn't find any common links or anything, or any of the producers worked prior to 3LW. But yeah, I really like the song. The girls did a really good job. Also, Adrian, because I already talked about Keely's voice. Now Keely, she sounds like Britney Spears to me. Her voice sounds good to me. Keely, you can sing. Stop playing with us. Adrian, her voice sounds like, again, I told y'all, everybody's voices sounds like instruments to me when they sing. Like, you know, my favorite singer is Brandy, as y'all can see. Her voice, especially in her first album, her younger days, her voice sounds like a flute to me. If you listen to Aaliyah, she literally sounds like a birdie, like a little bird singing. Cause or you know, people, oh, she has that angelic sound. She does. Beyonce, sounds like a horn. Back to the point though. Adrian sounds like a horn to me, and she also sounds like Selena. If you guys close your eyes and like transpose Selena's voice about 2 tones up, you would hear Adrian. She don't sing exactly the same, but like it sounds like she studied Selena, and like the things that she does with her voice, like the that's very Selena. And the way that she rests on her voice and her vibrato, very Selena-esque. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful, and she does it right. If you can do it and make it your own, that's what it's about. But on that song, it also sounds like it could have been a Selena song. Some of these songs, especially when you listen to her songs during her crossover period, because she was going for like pop, urban pop. But yes, not this time. Track 6, again, this sounds like a Britney Spears song. It sounds like it could have been on Britney Spears' between her first 2 albums at the least. Definitely that first album. It sounded like it could have been on Oops or Baby One More Time. But do y'all hear what I hear? It sounds like a Britney Spears song. But yeah, isn't this website cool? Look, let me focus. Let me get y'all through this. Let's get through this together. More Than Friends is track number 7. I really like that song because it's very poppy. I like the piano, the little sample that they use at the beginning. It sounds like a little pop commercial is coming on, like Kids Bop or something. It just takes you back. Yes, I love that song. I love the beat. I love the drum pattern. I love everything that they did to the song. It just sounds like they were trying to really kind of like test the waters with their first album. Because, you know, certain albums kind of hyper focus on one sound. And you can do a lot with those different sounds. But there's multiple different songs with different elements to it. Like you got a hip hop song, and you got a pop song, you got a R&B, you got an R&B urban song, you know, gospel, all that kind of stuff on this album. Yes, so More Than Friends, again, it sounds like a Britney Spears song. It sounds like it could have been on Britney Spears. Till I Say So, well, not Till I Say So, I don't want to skip any tracks. Track number 8, Curious, dope track. Again, I love how the album did showcase each of the girls and spotlight each of the girls and showed you their ability and what they could do, you know. Track number 9, Till I Say So. I was listening to this album, and it's like when you visit these albums, it really takes a lot of us back. And like, this is probably a fave of my friend. He really likes this song, Till I Say So. You guys should check it out. And while he was listening to it, he brought something to my attention. This song was actually featured on the Bring It On soundtrack, probably around the time their first single was released, because Baby No More, what's the name of the song? Yeah, No More, Baby I'ma Do Right was released in August of 2000. And around the same time, the Bring It On soundtrack was released. You know, the movie had been coming out or had come out already. And that was one of the songs on that soundtrack. Crazy that didn't have a video or wasn't a single, being that it was surrounded with a lot of girl power, because Black, the TLC group, another TLC-esque group, had a booming hit song on that soundtrack. But yes, if you didn't know 3LW had a song on that soundtrack, now you do. And that was probably the first time some of you heard of them, and then they dropped their hit single, Baby I'ma Do Right. So thank you for that, because yeah, thank you, because I probably would have came across that information, but I needed that Easter egg, because I love Easter eggs like that in albums. How many of y'all knew that? How many of y'all like, yep, I've been with them since Till I Say So? How many 3LW ride or dies like out there? Crush on You, I really like that song, and just by the beginning of it, you can already tell that they were trying to mold them to fit in what the girl groups and what R&B was doing at that time. It sounds like a Destiny's Child song is coming on from that Writings on the Wall soundtrack, it's the album. And this is 2000. By this time, Destiny's Child had moved on to Independent Women, and Survivor hadn't come out just yet, so their sound hadn't morphed into Survivor just yet, but it wasn't really a big difference. But kinda, because with the approach you had to kind of switch it up, being spotlighting all of the members in the group at that time. But yes, Crush on You definitely sounds like it could have been demoed or produced for Destiny's Child, but they really did their thing on it. track 11. But before I get to track 11, track 7 will have to be my favorite. And the album is pretty solid. But track 11, Ocean, it took a few listens for me to realize what they were talking about, and I love it. Y'all already know how I feel about these things, but it's a gospel song, and it's called Ocean, and it's wonderful. If you didn't know that, it's track 11. Check it out on 3LW's first album, and I love that you have groups that were spreading that kind of message and sending off that kind of vibe and energy and that kind of girl power along with what they believe and what they stand for. A lot of groups were doing this and artists were doing this at this time. Something I truly believe in and truly I stand for, and I'm going to always include in my work, and showing that it's okay to have a relationship with God, and it's okay to praise Him in everything that you do and thank Him. You know, those things are okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And maybe you can just encourage someone to tap into that along the way. Just something positive, like, you know, showing that they have strength and that's where they pull from. And that I'm not afraid to, like Lauryn Hill says, also look fly. You can be fly, and praise Him. It's not a burden. It's okay. It's totally cool. So I love that. Love it to the ground and back up. After Ocean, you have track 12, pretty short and sweet debut album, but straight to the point. The last track is a remix to their first single, I Can't Take It No More remix, Baby I'ma Do Right, featuring the greatest, the legend, Nas, who's up there on that Mount Rushmore of hip-hop MCs and rappers, icon legends. Yes, the one and only. And you know what? Y'all know I love a good remix. That's why I already love it. And I love how they trick you. A few artists have done that with their remixes. It reminds me of Mary J. Blige's You Remind Me remix, but I love when artists do that. But yeah, I'm going to give this debut a 10. I'm just going to give it a 10. Solid 10 for a debut album, for a group, showing that each girl has a role and has a voice and has a standing power, you know what I'm saying, and individualism. None of these girls are really alike. They definitely have and did have chemistry. If you watch their interviews and look at their performances, very young they did start, and I'm interested to see how their second album goes. I've never owned it and I've never heard it. I'm familiar with some of the singles and some of the videos, but I'm gonna buy it. We're gonna check it out. Let me know what album you want me to do next, or single by 3LW, or anything that you feel like I missed or I should know about 3LW, because sometimes, hey, I don't be doing everything, or I'll be forgetting, like, oh, they did do that. But like, these girls were very popular. They won Soul Train Awards when this first album came out, commercials, endorsements. They were pretty in it factor. It just reminds me of my sister singing No More Baby I'ma Do Right. How many of y'all sisters was singing No More Baby I'ma Do Right? My friend's sister definitely was singing. He just told me, oh my God, this reminds me of my sister. Yeah, all of our sisters was pretty much on this tip. 3LW, their first album, 2000. But I'll see y'all in the next video. Let me know what you want to see next. I'll see y'all soon.